2 months before I turned 40, I was diagnosed with bilateral breast cancer.
I recently visited with Carolina Millán and her husband, Felipe.
I have two genetic mutations, BRCA2 and CHEK2, which both are high risk for breast cancer. The protocol that I decided to follow was to do screenings every 6 months, where I would have rotating mammograms and then 6 months later MRIs. So every 6 months up until the age of 40, where I was planning on having a prophylactic mastectomy.
But months before she turned 40, her routine screenings showed something suspicious and she needed a biopsy. Carolina says the moment her results were back from the lab, they popped up in her medical app before her doctor could call her with results.
So I took a deep breath and I opened the exam, and those words immediately popped up at me, invasive ductal carcinoma. It was devastating.
She was in tears and I was like, what's happening? What's happening? And I remember that she just hands me her phone and it was the biopsy report. I don't know if you've read a biopsy report. It is very technical, medical documentation, and I could not understand it at all.
Carolina had already turned to ChatGPT and handed him the phone. That's when he learned his wife had cancer.
And I said in a very personal way, I was like, I'm so sorry to hear this. Like, this is gonna be difficult to hear, but et cetera. And then it gave us the detailed report of what the biopsy reports meant in plain language that I can understand.
She needed a double mastectomy and then started chemotherapy. But her medical diagnosis isn't straightforward, and that's where artificial intelligence is playing a major role. Follow along for part 3 to see the specific prompt Carolina used to get better information about her cancer diagnosis.